What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Caspa today, KAS USD. The purpose of this video is to discuss a lot, really. We're going to talk a lot about the prospects of Caspa here, because I do believe this is the first time, really, throughout this whole bull market that I actively do believe Caspa will see new all-time highs. Right? I've been very adamant ever since July, August of 2024 that Caspa would not go higher than these levels, that it would drop. It would likely go below 2 cents. I even called for prices below 1 cent. And the reason why is because, first and foremost, Caspa, throughout its whole life, it had a bull market of its own. It started its bull market in the heart of the bear market for the average crypto. Most cryptos were in a bear market here in June 2022 until the end of the year 2022, even into 2023. Some cryptos just ended their bear market like last month, you know what I mean? Like Zcash, for example, or in July, like Dash, for example. From a low here, and Zcash didn't end its bear market last month. I guess it ended in July as well. But from a low here to a high, Caspa saw a 113% growth. You guys, that's 1,136x is what that is. This is why at the top here, I was telling everybody in crypto to avoid Caspa like the plague, that this would be one of the largest disappointments of the cycle. I think I had a plethora of videos back here that said Caspa will be the largest disappointment of the crypto markets this cycle. Right, I said that back here. Back here, understand my perspective back here, okay? First and foremost, we were up 113,000%. You'd been consistently moving up more or less for, at that point, 25 months in a row, something that Bitcoin has only seen that kind of growth or more in its like third or fourth bull market. We didn't see that in its first bull market, right? That's a lot of consistent growth, and especially that much on a percentage basis as well. And back here, we thought that the crypto bull market would be done in October of 2025. I thought that the Bitcoin bull market would be done by October of 2025. I was not yet on board with the idea that the crypto market will extend into 2026 for continuation. Now, how far into 2026? I don't know. Are we going to see a super cycle? Do we even have a bear market? I don't know. Is this what the bear market was for altcoins? Is this what it was? Just this large consolidation phase here? I don't know. I don't think this is the bear market. I think that altcoins have yet to see their bull run, and whenever we do break out and see new all-time highs, I think Caspa is going to get a lick from that as well. Right? It's a very promising project. I've always said I don't hate Caspa, just because I think it's overpriced, just because I thought that the top was in and that we wouldn't see new all-time highs for the rest of the cycle and it would go into a bear market. I never said I hated Caspa. In fact, I said I wanted to buy some. I actually was interested in buying some, just not anywhere near these levels. Right? We'd have to drop a lot. Now, I thought, and I still do think, that any crypto in its first bull market or bear market will see a 90% drop or more. So this is where I thought we would drop below 2 cents, because it's a 90% drop. From a high to a low, 90% or more is 2 cents. And typically it's not 90%. Typically it's like 94% or more. So that would also imply that we drop below 1 cent. Well, on the 10th of October, we got pretty close. I don't know if I would count this as real price action, though, right? So I'm in this kind of in-between where Caspa right now has dropped 80% by my standards. I wouldn't accept this as an actual low, 95%. It's like a fake low. As soon as the exchanges opened back up, we were back at normal prices, right? But we're down 80%. I'm stuck in a rock and a hard place here, because we're down 80%, but altcoins are about to explode. They're about to see new all-time highs. We're about to see an altcoin rally. This is one of the top performers so far that we've had this cycle, right? And I think it's had a cycle of its own. I think Caspa literally had a bull market and a bear market of its own in the midst of crypto doing its own thing, whatever it's been doing, right? Which really has just been consolidating since March of 2024, to be completely fair. Caspa, I have a point. I promise you. Just pay attention, okay? It's very possible that Caspa still is in a bear market and it still goes lower until we see a 90% drop or more, right? We go down to 2 cents, we go down lower, whatever. But on the contrary effect of that, because I like to look at things from a percentage standpoint. Screw the timing, let's look at the percentage. But if we look at the timing of it, you've been in a bear market now, for about 16 months, which is very long. It's actually now from a percentage standpoint, we're only down 80%. That's pretty shallow. But from a time perspective, 16 months is very long. We look at Bitcoin. Throughout its whole entire existence, we've never seen a bear market that lasted longer than 14 months. There was some stagnation. Don't get me wrong. There was some stagnation here. We didn't kick off the bull market for 21 months after the bull market peak here, but the bear market ended in 14 months, 5 months, 12 months, 12 months, right? For the others chart, this is the average altcoin. The others chart, the average altcoin saw a 13-month bear market last cycle, a 11-month bear market. And if we were to go back before, there's no other historical data here, but same thing, right? We don't see too much longer than this. So a 16-month going on potentially 17-month bear market is pretty long. It's pretty long. And again, we can still move sideways. We don't have to, just because it's been this amount of time doesn't mean we have to move up right now, but we can still move sideways for a great period of time and kind of consolidate. But it does make me question, how much lower does Caspa have to go? Because where you are also right now is you're finding support here at prior resistance really throughout this whole entire range. This was really the only kind of significant stopping point that you had. Yeah, you pulled back here. Yeah, you pulled back here, but you were done with it after a month, right? This lasted for like 6 months. This was the longest phase of consolidation beyond the top that you had, and you're finding support directly at that point of resistance right there. It actually makes a lot of sense that maybe not that your low is in for the bear market, but that you have had a bear market of your own and that you're coming to an end of this. So with that premise, I want to look at this. I want to see if we see anything in the indicators, anything in the charts to suggest this, because Caspa being worth, what is it now in market cap valuation? Being worth $1.2 billion is a lot more, let's say, palpable than it was whenever it was worth billions of dollars. When it was worth, if it's worth 1.2 billion now, how much was it at the top? 4.5 times that. It's like $7 billion, right? Something like that. I don't know. Doing rough math there. Maybe 6 billion, whatever. Somewhere in that range, 6 to 7 billion in your first bull market. It's pretty hard to imagine that you continue to grow past that, right? Especially after 1,136x move from your low. But with 16 months of bear market, with an 80% drop overall, hell, who am I to say maybe you did get a 95% drop overall? I don't know. And in which case you really do meet the standards of any bear market in crypto that I've seen so far. And this is my third cycle, so I've seen a few of them. It's just, there's a lot of questions, right? And the main question here that I keep alluding to, that I'm trying to answer with this video is, do we have more to go? How much lower is it? Or is it time to start thinking of the upside? And if it is time to start thinking of the upside, we've had a full bear market, 16 months. Again, the average crypto, every single crypto that's ever had a bear market, we have not seen a 16-month bear market. Not even Bitcoin, but Kaspa is seeing it now. Are we overdue then for a bull market? You saw a 1,100x last cycle. Could you then be in your own cycle again and see something that is maybe not a 1,000x, but a multi-100x? A 100x, a 50x, whatever. Could you see some crazy growth from here? I think you could. And for a long time, again, I thought that we would not see new all-time highs. But this was because I thought the bear market would be beginning right here in October. I thought crypto would be going down. And with that, Caspa would probably go down as well. But crypto, I think, is right on the precipice of actually seeing new all-time highs altogether. Bitcoin, altcoins, everything. We're about to see that finale phase kick off. And now that Caspa is consolidated for 16 months, might it be ready to move higher? And not just slightly higher, like fantastically higher, as in a new bull market of its own, right? Caspa, you guys, Caspa might be a really serious play here, where the average coin, the average altcoin might go into its own bear market, or the crypto cycle as a whole goes into its own bear market. But Caspa is an outlier, and it's still in its own bull market. We've seen it happen before. It has literally formed its own bull market outside, like inside of a bear market, where the average crypto was in a bear market, and it started its own bear market as well. When the average crypto wasn't in a bear market, we were just kind of consolidating. You've done your own thing. It's like you're set apart from the rest of the markets. Enough talk. Let's just get into it, okay? Monthly time frame here, looking at the RSI. You've cooled way the hell off. Now, we haven't gotten oversold, but to be fair, Bitcoin never got oversold either. Right? A lot of you Caspanauts, you CAS holes out there, you like to compare Caspa to Bitcoin. Well, in Bitcoin's first bear market, it went down here. In its second bear market, it went down here. And in its most recent bear market, it went down here. Something between 46 to 36 might be intended. Caspa here at a 36, 37, that's good enough in my opinion, right? Especially for such a bullish chart, that's good enough. We don't have to get oversold. you do have bullish divergence. Caspa has bullish divergence on its monthly time frame dating back, I mean, really as soon as it could have back in March of this year. You have bullish divergence that has not yet exacted itself on a monthly time frame on your MACD. Not only that, but your oscillators, the orange line and the blue line here, they are rapidly approaching this zero, which is actually a perfect area to find support. I wonder if Bitcoin shows this. I wonder if it does this on its monthly MACD as well. Right, you found support right here just above the zero. You found support down here just below the zero, to be fair. It happens that way. But right here as well, just above the zero, right there, bounced right at it, right? It's somewhat common to bounce right at it. What I'm trying to say here is Caspa is at an area to bounce with the MACD right here, okay? You're at an area to bounce with the RSI right here, I think. And the stochastics and the MACD both have bullish divergence presented on them. You've gotten oversold with the stochastics, and now you're trying to get out of the oversold zone. And I think when this orange line gets out of the oversold zone and the blue line's out of the oversold zone, the blue line's above the orange line's out of the oversold zone, they're both pointed up like this. I think when we see that, we will have the commencement of what will effectively be the next bull market for Caspa. That's my thoughts here. You're set up. You got bullish divergence out the wazoo on your monthly MACD and on your stochastics. That's not a small feat that's not a small accomplishment there. Okay, weekly time frame here. No bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. In all fairness, no bullish divergence on the RSI or the stochastics, but you are pretty oversold. You've had a bit of a downtrend, right? You've actually taken a lower low, lower high trend, and you're kind of phasing that into a sideways trend, which doesn't mean you can't go lower. You can go lower. But typically, whenever you go from a downwards trend to a sideways trend, you actually phase into an upwards trend afterwards. We're right on the precipice, I think, of forming a long-term upwards trend in the weekly RSI, which would be very beneficial for Caspa here. We're trying to make out a case where the low is in, or if this is not the low, where might the low be? So let's try to focus on that. Okay, so from a low to a high here, you literally tipped your golden ratio for support last week. It's a pretty good area to find support. You're respecting this fib. I think that this makes sense to me. Could you go lower? Yes. Again, talking about a 90% drop overall, I mean, maybe you go all the way down to about 2 cents or lower. But I can't really imagine right here from this current price that Caspa drops another 53% and the rest of the market runs. I can't imagine Caspa's been moving down for 16 months in a row, more or less, and has 53% more to go while the rest of the market moves up. You know, it's just kind of hard for me to wrap my head around that. Right? I can't imagine that you're finding support where you found resistance before, really your most significant kind of area of resistance besides your all-time high area, and that you're going to break dramatically, fantastically below this, right? I can't, it doesn't sound right to me. So what I'd like to then think is if Caspa moves lower, if it moves lower, I think 2 cents is really, you know, maybe 2 cents, 2.1 cent, maybe 3 cents, maybe is the lowest that we could go, somewhere in that range. But it's completely acceptable to consider this as a low as well. We're right here at the golden ratio. We're literally right here at the golden ratio. And I think that it's completely fine to say that this is a low. And then I want to look here. I just want to see from a low to a high here. What do we got? Right at the 1272. I mean, that's fine. That's a very proper reaction that you had there. There's just no fibs really to measure this thing from, right? We can't take a low to a high. I mean, we can. Low here to your all-time high. We hit the 236 perfectly, which is actually really bullish. Like, to hold the 236 as support is bullish. The 382 down here, it's actually very common to wick below the 382 and then close above it. But again, I think that's fake price action. I wouldn't consider that as real. Sorry. If the low is in, where might the high be? Right? If we take this as a high, what would effectively be our bull market high to our effective bear market low, the average crypto, when they see new all-time highs, they typically stop between the range of the golden ratio and the 2272. Now, don't get too excited. I'm not saying Caspa will go here or that it will go here by the end of this crypto bull run. I'm just saying, as of now, compared to here, compared to last year in July, I'm more under this belief now than I ever have been, that Caspa could see from here a 12x to potentially a 37, 38x move, which would be pretty high. Don't get me wrong, a 38x from here, you're at a $1.2 billion market cap. That puts you well over a $40 billion market cap, even a $50 billion market cap, I think. But again, at that point, you're not even in your first bull market. Now you're kind of in your second bull market, and a 37x in your second bull market, where your first one you saw over a 1000x. I don't think I'm asking for much. What if you see more? For a long time, a lot of you Caspa people have been calling for prices that are absolutely absurd, that put Caspa above $100 billion in its first bull market. It never made sense to me. But now that we've had a full bear market, debatably, seeing something above $100 billion is completely possible, right? I've often said that in order for $100 billion or more to come into play, you need institutions to back you up, right? And Caspa's had institutional money. We've had BlackRock mining and all that stuff. I get it. But institutions aren't just going to put their money into something that's new. They're not going to put serious money into something that's new. They need to see how you do in a bear market. They need to see how you do in your worst, right? Anything can do well in its good times, but how do you maintain relevance? Do you maintain a community? Do you develop still, or do you shit the bed and drop to the floor and flatline forever, never to come back in the bad times? They want to know, because if you can nut up in the bad times and come back from there, then you're deserving of institutional money. Then you're deserving of market caps that are at 100 billion or more. And Caspa perhaps could see, well, who am I to say? I could be wrong, but it could see a 100 billion or more dollar market cap by the end of this, what would be the average crypto's bull market. Or get this, the average crypto might be done with its bull market. Caspa keeps going for another 4 to 6 months afterwards, because again, it kind of does its own thing. I don't know how high this thing's going to go. Okay, I don't know when, but I do assume that by the time Bitcoin's at $500,000 or more, Caspa would at least be at 56 cents or more. I don't know how much I believe in a $2.87 price. I don't even know how much I believe in $1.63. All I'm saying is I believe in these possibilities a lot more now than I ever have, as far as being within the parameters of the average crypto's cycle. Okay, I don't think Caspa is going to go to $5. I mean, maybe in time, it does, but I don't think in 2026 you're going to see $5. I think that the best case scenario you could see in 2026 might be like $3. Okay, but still, from here to there, it's a world's difference of my mentality with Caspa. Here, I'm actually thinking, okay, you've had a full bear market. You very well could break out of this, and I mean, it's very well structured. It's very, you were not quick to your drop. It was a very long, methodical, drawn out process, and where you're finding support is actually a very key area to find support. I really wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw some life come back to Caspa over the coming months, and while the crypto, the alt season bull run begins, if we saw Caspa take the lead and like show people that this thing is still relevant. I think it is, but time will tell. Anyways, I've got nothing else for you guys. Just wanted to come on here and share all those thoughts. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. It's a long, drawn out video. I don't know how well I did, but let me know in the comments. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.